I uploaded the video in 2009, back when going viral meant maybe your cousin in Ohio forwarded it to 3 people and someone left a comment that just said LOL. I was 33, newly married, newly responsible, and newly terrified of money in the way only a person with a fresh mortgage can be terrified. My dad was in the driveway behind my childhood house, leaning over the open hood of his '92 Silverado. He had grease on his forearms, a dented coffee mug on the bumper, and that calm, unshakable confidence that made me feel like everything would be fine even when it wasn't. I filmed it on a little flip phone while he lectured me, gently like he always did about debt. "You don't owe anybody your sleep," he said, wiping his hands on a rag. "Pay what you have to, but don't sign your name like it's nothing. That's how people get you." I laughed because I'd just taken out a loan for a kitchen remodel we absolutely did not need. I posted the clip to YouTube under a dumb account name, Driveway Dad, and didn't think about it again. Not for years. Not until my phone started lighting up on a Tuesday morning like I'd accidentally offended half the internet. Part 2. It was my coworker first. A text with a link and, "Isn't this your dad?" Then my sister, with a screenshot of my dad's face frozen mid-sentence, captioned by somebody else. "You don't owe anybody your sleep." Then my wife, Erin, calling from the grocery store, breathless and confused. "Why are you on TikTok?" she asked, like that was a place you could accidentally end up. I clicked the link and watched my dad in our old driveway in grainy 2009 quality tell the world the same thing he told me, except now it had background music, subtitles, and a million comments from strangers saying things like "I needed this today" and "This is the dad I never had." The clip had been ripped, edited, and reposted by accounts with names like Old School Wisdom and Blue Collar Therapy. One had 7 million views. Another had 12. I sat at my desk and felt weirdly calm. Like, okay, the internet discovered my dad. That's kind of sweet. He'd been gone 3 years by then. Heart attack, sudden, leaving my mom with a paid-off house and a mountain of medical bills. Erin texted again. "If this is getting ad money, we should do something, right?" And that's the moment money entered the story like a knife sliding between ribs. Quietly, efficiently, changing the shape of everything. At first, it was small-dollar fantasy. Comments saying, "This should be a book." Messages asking if we had more videos. Someone offered $200 to use the audio in a commercial for an app I'd never heard of. I told Erin, "It's not our clip anymore. People just take stuff." But she wasn't wrong. We weren't broke exactly, but we weren't comfortable. We had 2 kids, one in middle school and one staring down college like a freight train. My mom still called once a month with a new bill. A new specialist fee she didn't understand. A new, "Your dad would have handled this" sigh. So I dug into my old email accounts, found the YouTube login, and tried to reset the password. The recovery email was not mine. It was my ex-wife's. I stared at the screen like it had insulted me personally. My first marriage ended in 2011, messy and expensive, the kind where lawyers start using phrases like equitable distribution, and you start counting the cost of every single mistake you ever made. I hadn't thought about her email being tied to that old channel. I hadn't thought about that channel at all. And now, suddenly, the world had decided my dad's driveway advice was worth real money. I messaged my ex, Lisa, with the most neutral, adult tone I could manage. "Hey, weird thing. An old video on that YouTube account is going viral. I'm trying to access it. Looks like your email is the recovery. Can you help me reset it?" She replied an hour later, "Wow, people still love him, huh? No mention of the password." "No, sure. Just that." Then, "I've been meaning to tell you. I actually have access to that channel. I've been managing it." Managing it. I asked what that meant. She sent me a screenshot of the YouTube studio dashboard like she was showing me her new kitchen remodel. Monetization. On. Earnings. A number that made my throat go dry. Not millions, but not nothing. Over the last 6 months, before I even knew it was viral, the channel had been making between $3,000 and $8,000 a month. Lisa wrote, "I didn't want to bother you. You have a family now. And honestly, I figured you'd just waste it." I reread that line 5 times. It wasn't even the insult that got me. It was the casual certainty with which she said it. Like she was the responsible adult here, like I was still the irresponsible 30-year-old who signed a loan paper without reading it. My hands were cold. Erin was chopping onions for dinner, and I could hear the knife hitting the cutting board. Steady, rhythmic, while my old life rearranged itself on my phone screen. Part 5. Lisa offered a solution immediately, which should have been my first clue. "I'll keep running it," she said. "You don't have to deal with taxes or paperwork. I'll just send you your share." My share. I told her it was my dad. My video. My upload. She replied, "Our marriage paid for that phone. We lived in that house. The channel is under my email. Legally, it's messy. Do you really want to fight about this?" The word legally made my stomach twist. I've always been the guy who believes if you stay calm and reasonable, things work out. I believed in spreadsheets, in fair splits, in handling uncomfortable conversations like a grown-up. So I said, "Fine, what's fair?" She said, 50-50. Erin heard my tone change and came over, wiping her hands on a dish towel. I showed her the messages. Her face did that slow tightening thing it does when she's trying not to explode. "She's been collecting money off your dad and didn't tell you?" I said, "Maybe she thought it was nothing." Erin pointed at the earnings screenshot. "That's not nothing." That night, I lay awake thinking about my dad's voice. "You don't owe anybody your sleep." And yet, somehow, money had found a way to reach back from the past and start taking mine. I contacted YouTube support, filled out forms, sent a copy of my dad's death certificate because someone online told me that sometimes helps. I also called a lawyer I'd used during the divorce, a man who sounded permanently exhausted by human behavior. He listened and said, "Technically, the account ownership matters. But earnings? Taxes? That's where people really get hurt." That word again, taxes. I asked Lisa if she'd been reporting the income. She replied, "Yes, of course." Then, 2 minutes later, "It's under your social security number." I actually laughed out loud. Not because it was funny, because my brain couldn't find another sound to make. "What do you mean it's under my SSN?" "Lisa, when we monetized, it asked for verification. I used the info I had." My mouth tasted metallic. Erin said, very quietly, "Did she just admit she used your SSN to collect money without telling you?" I texted Lisa, "That's fraud." She replied, "Don't be dramatic. It's still you. It's your channel. I'm just the admin." Then, "And before you freak out, I already paid the taxes." I wanted to believe her. I wanted it so badly I could feel myself reaching for the false comfort like it was a railing on a staircase. Because the alternative was me being tied, financially and legally, to a revenue stream I didn't control. And I could already see how that ends. The IRS letter came 3 weeks later. Not a scary "you're going to jail" letter. Worse. A bland, bureaucratic notice that screamed "we have a mismatch and you need to fix it." It listed income from Google LLC, and an amount larger than what Lisa had shown me. I called her immediately. "Oh," she said, too casual. "Yeah, that's probably because of the licensing deal." "What licensing deal?" Silence. Then, a media company reached out. They wanted to use the clip in a documentary series. It was a one-time payment. "How much?" She sighed like I was being tedious. 40,000. My knees actually went weak. I sat down on the edge of our bed. Erin was in the doorway, reading my face. Lisa kept talking. "I put most of it toward debt. I figured that was the responsible thing." "You're welcome." "What debt?" I said, and my voice sounded like someone else's. She said, "Mine. And yours technically. Remember the credit card we had? The one that got put in collections after the divorce? I handled it. I hadn't even known it existed. That was the first major twist, and it hit me like nausea. Lisa wasn't just taking money. She was using my dad's words, my dad's face, as a private ATM to clean up financial messes I didn't even know we had. And she was doing it in my name. Erin wanted to go nuclear. Lawsuit, police report, full scorched earth. I wanted, stubbornly, to fix it like an adult. Calmly, rationally. Let's just get control of the account, I kept saying. Once we have control, we can sort everything out. Lisa refused to hand over the login. She kept insisting she was protecting the channel from being mismanaged. Then she made her first real threat. If you try to take it, she texted, I'll tell them the video is jointly owned. I'll file a claim and get it taken down. Then nobody gets anything. Erin slammed her phone on the counter. She's holding your dad hostage. And that's when it stopped being about a clip online and became about something uglier, leverage. My mom called that week too, crying because someone had shown her the video at church. He's everywhere, she said. It's like he's alive. I didn't tell her about the money. I didn't want to poison it for her. But money was already poisoning everything else. The next twist came from someone I didn't expect. My younger brother, Danny. He showed up at my house with a six-pack and that tight, slightly manic energy he gets when he's about to drop bad news. We sat on the back porch while the air smelled like cut grass and the neighbor's grill. I saw Dad's video, he said. It's weird. Yeah, I said, trying to keep my voice even. It's kind of a mess. Danny stared at his beer. Mom said you're handling it. I nodded. He swallowed. Listen, you need to know something before this gets bigger. My gut clenched. Okay, Danny said. Lisa called me 2 months ago. She offered me money. I blinked. For what? He looked up, eyes glossy. To back her up. If you fought her on ownership. She said she'd cut me in if I signed something saying you uploaded it while you were married, so it's marital property. The porch went quiet except for a distant lawnmower. My face felt hot. Danny rushed to add, I didn't sign. I didn't take it. But the damage was done. Because suddenly I wasn't just dealing with an ex. I was dealing with a person who had turned my father's memory into a negotiating chip and was shopping allies like she was buying votes. Money doesn't just change people. It reveals what they were willing to do all along. I did what I should have done at the start. I hired a real attorney, not my old divorce guy who wanted to avoid work. The new attorney was younger, sharper, and blunt in a way I weirdly appreciated. She said, We're going to separate 2 issues, control of the account and liability for the income. She also said, the fastest way to stop the bleeding is to establish you as the rightful payee and issue a corrected tax form. Corrected tax form meant Lisa's income would shift off my SSN, which meant Lisa would suddenly owe taxes on money she'd already spent. When my attorney sent the demand letter, Lisa called me for the first time in years. Her voice was sweet, almost nostalgic. You don't have to do this, she said. You're being manipulated by your wife. Erin in the kitchen mouthed wow. Lisa continued, I kept that channel alive. I answered emails. I negotiated deals. You didn't even remember the password. And now you want to steal it? I said, you used my social security number without permission. She snapped, because you would have ruined it. You would have gotten excited and spent it. I didn't raise my voice. I just said, send me the login, or we do this the hard way. She hung up. For the first time, I felt something crack in me. Not rage exactly, but the end of a certain kind of naive self-image. The image of myself as the calm, reasonable guy who can talk anyone down. Some people don't want resolution. They want control. We got the account back 2 weeks later through a mix of legal pressure and platform procedures. The channel was mine again. I remember logging in late at night, sitting at my dining room table with the overhead light too bright, Erin's mug of tea cooling beside my laptop. My hands shook slightly as I clicked through tabs. There were dozens of emails Lisa had answered. Sponsorship offers, licensing contracts, a spreadsheet labeled payouts. And then the third twist. The payouts weren't just going to Lisa. There were transfers to an account I didn't recognize every month, for amounts that made my chest tighten. $2,000 here, $5,500 there, one $18,000 payment labeled, catch up. Erin leaned over my shoulder. Who is that? I clicked the bank routing details. My throat went dry. It was my mother's bank, not her checking her home equity line of credit. My brain refused it at first. Like, no, that's not possible. Mom wouldn't. Mom doesn't even know how to attach a photo to an email. I called her the next morning, trying to sound casual. Hey, did you take out a home equity loan recently? Silence. Then she said, small and scared, I didn't want to bother you. My mom came over that afternoon with a folder of papers and a face that looked 10 years older than it had a month earlier. She spread documents across my kitchen table like she was laying out evidence of a crime. Because she was. After my dad died, the medical bills didn't stop. Insurance fought. Providers billed. Collections called. My mom, proud to the bone, didn't tell me the full extent because she didn't want to be a burden. Lisa had found out anyway, through old shared paperwork, through some lingering connection, and offered my mom help. It's your husband, Lisa apparently told her. His words are helping people. Let it help you too. Lisa set up a system. She would send money to cover bills. But instead of paying the bills directly, she routed payments through my mom's home equity line so it looked like my mom was borrowing and repaying, borrowing and repaying. Why would she do that? Erin asked, voice tight. My mom stared at her hands. She said it would protect you. She said if it looked like you were making all that money, the hospital might come after the estate harder. She said this way it stays quiet. Quiet. That was the false comfort again. The idea that if you move money around cleverly enough, you can avoid consequences. But money has a way of keeping receipts, even when people don't. For about 2 weeks, I thought we'd reached the end. That was the false resolution. We had the channel. We stopped the payments to my mom's credit line and refinanced her bills properly. My attorney filed paperwork to correct the tax reporting. Erin and I even had one of those exhausted, relieved nights where you eat takeout on the couch and laugh like you survived something. I think we're through the worst, I told her. I meant it. Then a man in a polo shirt called me from a number I didn't recognize and asked if I had time to talk about the clip. He introduced himself as a producer for a financial advice show. They wanted to fly me out, film me in my dad's driveway, talk about blue-collar wisdom, maybe set up a whole series. He said, this could be a real opportunity. 6 figures, easy. My heart did that greedy, shameful lurch. I pictured my daughter's future tuition. I pictured my mom breathing easier. I pictured the kitchen remodel we never did finishing itself in my mind. Then he added, we're just finalizing rights. We already have a signed release. A release from who? I asked. He hesitated. From Lisa, your ex-wife. She claimed she controlled the underlying intellectual property and my vision narrowed. Lisa had signed contracts while pretending to be me, while using my SSN, while paying my mom through a loan she didn't understand, and now she was selling my dad again like he was a product line. That's when the last unraveling started. The fourth twist wasn't that Lisa had tried to cash in again. It was what I found when my attorney subpoenaed the licensing contracts Lisa had signed. She hadn't just agreed to documentaries and ads. She'd taken advances, large ones, against future earnings of the channel. Basically, she treated my dad's viral moment like a predictable income stream and borrowed against it. Those loans weren't in her name. They were in mine, because the channel, on paper, had been mine the whole time. I remember sitting in my attorney's office, staring at my own signature on a document I had never seen. The signature was close enough to pass at a glance, sloppy like mine gets when I'm in a hurry. But it wasn't mine. I said very calmly, how bad is it? My attorney looked at me with something like pity. If they come after you for repayment, it could be devastating. Erin cried in the car. I didn't. I stayed quiet, hands tight on the steering wheel, because if I let myself feel it all at once, I thought I might actually break. At home, I went into the garage and sat in the driver's seat of my own car with the door closed, listening to the faint sound of my kids laughing inside the house. And for the first time, I understood something about my dad's line that I'd never fully grasped. Debt isn't just numbers. It's a leash. Part 15. We reported it. Fraud. Identity theft. The whole ugly list. Lisa didn't go quietly. She tried to paint herself as the caretaker of my father's legacy, as if stealing and managing were the same thing. My mom blamed herself. I should have told you, she kept saying. I should have told you. Aaron blamed Lisa, loudly and correctly. And me? I blamed myself in a way I didn't expect. Because here's the part that permanently altered how I see myself. The reason I didn't notice the credit card after the divorce, the reason I didn't dig into the channel sooner, the reason I kept trying to handle it calmly, wasn't maturity. It was avoidance. I've always told myself I'm responsible. The steady one. The guy who doesn't let emotions drive decisions. But the truth is, money scares me so much that I go numb around it. I let other people steer. I let paperwork sit. I let quiet solutions feel like safety. And Lisa, whatever else she is, saw that in me a long time ago. The channel is still up. I still get messages from strangers who say my dad helped them get through a rough week, stop drinking, leave a bad job. That part is real and it's good and I don't want to poison it. But I can't watch the video the same way anymore. When my dad says, "Don't sign your name like it's nothing," I don't hear it as advice. I hear it as a warning I didn't take seriously until it cost me years of sleep, a chunk of my mother's home, and a piece of myself I thought was solid. The video went viral years later. So did the lesson. Just not the way I wanted.